What's up? Welcome to Dr. William James podcast. Welcome to my channel. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I do regularly cover martial arts. I do regularly cover judo. Usually you'll see a clip uploaded regarding martial arts or judo at least once a week, and you could tune into that. I do cover various topics, but I do cover martial arts. So this video is titled Road to Fourth Dan. I wanted to give insight on what this process is like, experiencing the art and the sport, some of the differences, some of the nuances regarding judo. A lot of people like to ask questions regarding rank and time and things like that. So I wanted to give some of my input. So, yeah, I'm on the road. I've been given a date by my instructor, my sensei, that I'll be testing for fourth degree. Mind you, I came into judo in 2008, March of 2008. So I've been in judo for 18 years now. It hasn't been 18 years consistently. Since I've become a black belt, I've been consistent. I got my black belt in March of 2016, so it took me 8 years to get to black belt, which that's one of the questions that people often ask. How long does it take to get your black belt in judo? So just like any art, whether it's judo, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, karate, taekwondo, it varies. Certain arts are more difficult to get a black belt than others. Under certain instructors, it's more different than others. There's a lot of variables. It depends on, where you are, which country, who your instructor is, how much you train, how much you compete, your knowledge, how fast you grow, how well you do with competition. So there's something called Bantugan where you can be promoted just based off of how well you do in tournament, beating higher ranks. So if you are, say, a green belt, but you go to a tournament and you play higher rank and you beat, say, 2 brown belts and a black belt, your instructor can say you deserve to be a brown belt. That's how people Bantugan to brown belt quicker or higher ranks quicker. Some instructors, even if you Bantugan, they'll give you the rank, but they'll still put you through a test. Again, it varies. So it took me 8 years to get to black belt. I competed a lot, several tournaments, heading up to that rank. I did Bantugan through the ranks. I tested for yellow, didn't test for orange, didn't test for green, and I didn't test for any of the ranks of brown. I Bantugan the black belt because I had beat when I was an EQ brown belt. So I came to judo, let me rewind. I came to judo when I was 18. I had started some boxing first, and then I came to judo when I was 18. The ranks for adults, because even that's sort of like, that's borderline like adolescence into adults. The rank usually is white, yellow, orange, green. Some adults, they just do white, yellow, green, brown, black. So white, yellow, orange, green, brown, black. There's 3 levels of brown. There's Sankyu, Nikyu, EQ, with EQ being the closest to black belt. So, yeah, I tested for yellow, didn't test for orange, didn't test for green, didn't test for any of the ranks of brown. I Bantugan the black belt because I had beat like 5 black belts in tournament, but I still had to test. So, with this road to Yodan, road to 4th degree black belt, it's more than just a title. And it really places the, how can I say it, the responsibility into perspective. Because a lot of people think that when you get your black belt, you're some sort of master. These are people who are outside of the sport or outside of martial arts usually. They think you're some sort of master that's the end of the road. What we understand in judo is that a black belt means that you're a serious student. When you get Shodan, you're a serious student. It's not the end of the road. The real learning begins. And then you work towards becoming a master, really growing in the art, really learning all of the newaza, the ground techniques, the shimiwaza, the teiwaza, uh, koshiwaza, atemiwaza, all of the different things. Like, a lot of people don't know about atemiwaza, that there are punches and kicks in judo, and it's not just any punches and kicks, but it's like where to strike, striking in the most efficient areas. That's one of the key aspects of judo. Maximum efficiency with minimum effort. So striking the eyes and the neck and the groin and areas like that, the gut. When you strike areas that are really going to be effective, you don't see it in the sport, but it is a part of the art. It was implemented by Dr. Jigoro Kano in 1882 when judo was founded, and you see it come out in the katas. But if you don't practice it, you may not have a firm understanding of it because it's not a part of the sport. So as you go through the ranks, you tend to want to make all of your skills sharper and have the knowledge of all of the various different techniques and terminologies and understanding. It helps with your understanding of the kata and everything like that. Some people are just, competition based. They don't really care about the katas and the art form in totality. And that's okay, that's for them. Some of those people have really good judo. Some of those people have the strongest judo. Those are usually Olympians and things like that who really don't know kata and things like that, but they are very hard. They train very hard on the sports, and they do their cardio and their weight training and things like that. They do a bunch of, kazushi and just, a bunch of just working on your techniques. For me, I like to be well-rounded, knowing all of my katas. There's 10 katas in judo. You got Isitsu, you got Katami no Kata, Kimi no Kata, Kodokan Goshin, Juno Kata. There's various katas that we have in judo. And it's just about being, an expert and working hard to perfect your craft as you go through the ranks. You want your technique to become stronger, but it takes a lot of effort. Working on your arm bars, working on your chokes, working on your pins, working on your right side, working on your left side with your throws. It's everything. So it's been a long journey. Some people ask me questions about, and I'm gonna go live one day talking about this, but people ask the questions like, how long does it take you to go from one rank to the next? That also depends on your activity. It depends on which judo federation you're under. You have the IJF, you have the USJA, you have different, all of this, it matters. Certain organizations allow promotions quicker than others, but it also depends on if you compete and how often you compete. It's more about your dedication to the sport and the growth of the sport of judo. I've become a ref, and I've ref tournaments, I coach, I do different things. But I will say, I got my Shodan in first degree black belt in 2016. I was getting promoted to Nidan second degree black belt in March of 2020 when COVID hit. So that postponed it. That postponed it all the way to December of 2020. Then from there, I got promoted to third degree black belt at Bansugan from competing in tournaments. I went to a tournament and I went against a fifth degree black belt. I won that, and I got Bansugan. I got promoted to third degree after a little over 2 years. So my first degree was 2016, second degree was in 2020, my third degree was in 2022. 2.5 years before I got promoted. So I had enough time and grade to get promoted anyway, because it's really like from first degree black belt to second degree black belt is like around 2 years to get promoted. Then from second to third is around 2, and then from third to fourth is around 4 to 5, depending on which organization and who you ask. So this is year 4 for me of being a Sandan. And then from there it gets longer and longer. 4th to 5th, around 6 years. 5th to 6th, around 6-7 years. 6th to 7th, around 8 years. 7th to 8th, around 8-9 years. And 9th and 10th is just pretty much not going to happen for most people, because you have to dedicate a lot. But it is about, you know, understanding the essence of judo and understanding the flow, how to move and how to react. You know, there's a famous video from Bruce Lee when he was saying, like, you know, I don't react. When there's an opportunity, it reacts on its own.
It's an opportunity. I do not hit. It hits all by itself.
That's when you truly understand and embody what it means to be a martial artist and a judoka, when you reach that level to where you understand it, and people move and they make reactions and they make mistakes, and you know what move to do. Or like, this is the perfect opportunity to do Ippon Seoinage, or this is the perfect opportunity for Osotogari, whatever throw it is. That's what it's more about, understanding. It's another one of my favorite movies is The Last Dragon, when he says, oh, you reached the final level. You knew without knowing.
How did you know that was the blue one?
I do not know.
It is a celebration. You have touched the final level. You knew without knowing. We have finished our journey together.
All of the martial artists, they know that that's a real thing. Like, whether you do boxing, karate, Muay Thai, BJJ, judo, whatever you're doing, that's a real thing when you reach that level to where you just know how, you just react. You have that reflex in the moment because of the muscle memory. You've been training, doing it. And then that person makes a mistake and you get the perfect move, the perfect technique. So it's about perfecting that over time. Sometimes you lose some of what you're learning and you have to refresh yourself and keep at it. That's what I'm learning now. As I prepare for 4th degree. Some of the knowledge and some of the things that I knew, I have had to remind myself about this information. And it's like, oh yeah, you know, why don't I do that more often? As someone who still competes, you have to keep yourself refreshed. But yeah, I just wanted to share this. These were my thoughts. Y'all can let me know what y'all think in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe. Peace.